Fuel testing gasoline.
How's it going, guys?
Diesel.
Anthony American Diesel. So we have a fuel sample right here. So if you work on gasoline, diesel, doesn't really matter. If you work on either or, you want to stay tuned to this. So if you ever wondered, man, is there a way to just test this so that way I'm not just dumping all this fuel on the ground and just hoping, and then you got an old timer that comes in and says, oh yeah, that shit right there is yellow, yeah, it's no good. Fuck that shit. So what you want to do is you want to be able to do this accurately. So if we dump this over here in our gasoline, okay, we let that simmer. Same for our diesel. So I have a hydrometer for both the gasoline and diesel. So let that simmer. I'll tell you right now, this one's the bad fuel sample. And just because it's yellow, sometimes you get fuel that's been sitting for a while, it will be yellow just like that. And as you can see right here, we're way off from where it should be. So we should be around like 60, 65. Come to our chart over here. I already have it laid out. So it should be from 60 to 55 in our API chart. So right here on the scaling, it's from API. And then over here, we're about a little bit above 37. Same thing for the diesel. So around 37. It's winter blend. So depending on type of the year, you know, as far as where you're at, in a hotter, colder climate, you could have a different diesel blend, but that's where you're looking for. You're looking to see if your blend is matching to where you're at. So that blend right there is perfect for diesels. This right here for gasoline, no bueno. So I had a vehicle come in, it was bucking, spitting, doing all sorts of crazy stuff. Took a fuel sample, immediately I put this in there. That thing went straight up, and I can see right here, we should be between 60 and 65. Let's get this thing to go in. We should be somewhere right here. So us being well above that, that's no good to fuel. So yeah, you're gonna wanna do something like this, especially if you're working on diesels. So let me show you a little something. This is my secret testing for water and fuel. So let's do this real quick. Let's pull this out. Also, you're not going to want to touch these with your hands. So, come over here to our water bottle over here. Okay. I mean, I'm not lying. Straight water. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to put it into our diesel sample. Okay. All right. Shake it up. Okay, so you can kind of see where the water is at, okay, on a diesel. So if you put a little bit less than that than what I did, it won't really show up, but it will show up with this. So you take this right here, take a little bit of that, and you're gonna drop a couple of drops in here. You're gonna watch as all that mixes with the water. That way you can plainly see if there's water in the fuel. And like I said, I know visually you can see the water, but it's much easier to use just the test sample, put the drops in there, and that way you see the water in the fuel. Then we'll do the same thing over here for our gasoline sample. I haven't tested it yet for the water and fuel, so let's test this one as well. So this will work for regardless of it being gasoline or diesel. So as you see, this sample right here has absolutely no water in here. So we can shake it around, and it wants nothing to deal with the fuel that's next to it. But if you have water in the fuel, like it is over here in diesel, it'll make it really cloudy, and it will mix with that water versus the fuel. So yeah, I just want to show you a quick little testing right here. This is how the way you should be testing whenever you're testing for fuel samples. You want to be checking that API to see exactly where you're at, to see whether it's combustible or not. The same thing for diesel. You know, it doesn't matter, cetane, octane, doesn't really matter. These hydrometers will work for both. But they're just different scaling for the diesel. So you can see we have a lower scaling for diesel. We have higher scaling for that. So yeah, just want to show you that real quick. This is really not that expensive, especially if you just buy the hydrometers by themselves. They're not really that expensive. These kits do come with other stuff like refractometers. This one over here comes with stuff for like the battery and checking the coolant, stuff like that. This one comes with its own, it's just a different color. And then yeah, that's pretty much it.
There is no diesel like American diesel.